Hi guys, Lord Ryujin coming back at you again. Finally got internet back up, so now we have some things to talk about. Just the other day, yesterday actually, I was looking online and I noticed that Nintendo happened to redesign the Wii U controller. And I wanted to share my initial thoughts on it with you. Now, I have to be honest, this is going to be the first time that I've done this, that I disagree with Nintendo. Typically, when I look at something, like I remember when the Wii came out, I looked at it and I thought, this is going to be great. This thing's going to live up to its name of Revolution. This was before they changed it to Wii, of course. So that being said, typically I'm on board with a lot of stuff that Nintendo does. Now, this is just my personal opinion. I disagree with what they did with the Wii U controller. I liked what they initially had that they showed off at E3 last year with the symmetrical controller. It was smaller, looked like it could be about this big, and like I said, it was symmetrical because all the buttons went directly down. The bottom row had start, select, and home, and it just looked like it was going to be a great controller. But yesterday I went online and I happened to see that they redesigned the controller. They gave it analog over circle pads. They added a light around the home button and they moved start and select. So I wanted to touch on a couple of things with this. Now I'm sure that come E3 we'll see why they did these changes, and I'll be like, okay, that's cool. Or by the time I get my hands on it, I'll be like, I don't even care, this thing's great. I'm sure that the Wii U is still going to be a great system, and I'm sure that the controller is going to justify that. But just based upon what I initially saw of the controller last year and what I'm seeing of what they're showing from the controller this year, I have to just say a few quick things about what I think about it. First of all, not happy with them going to analog. I guess it's understandable. I mean, every single Nintendo console since the Nintendo 64 has had analog. So I guess that's no big deal. But I just thought that Nintendo was going to go with circle pads. I mean, they had circle pad on the 3DS. They even came out with Circle Pad Pro to give you the second circle pad. And then when they showed it off at E3 with two circle pads, I thought that that's the direction that they were going to try and go to be different from Sony and from Microsoft, who were using analog. But with Nintendo trying to get more third-party support, and I hear that they're getting a lot of third-party support, getting games like Assassin's Creed and Darksiders and all this stuff, they probably have to make it play very similar to the way it's going to be on the PlayStation and the Xbox counterparts. So very understandable why they did that. I'm disappointed. I like the circle pads. I play on my 3DS a lot, and I just like the circle pads. But I guess for a home console, I guess the circle pads wouldn't work as much. So that's probably why they switched. The other thing I don't like is, I guess, just the movement of start and select. Because this is just me personally, but start and select, plus and minus, whatever you want to call it, used to be on the bottom, right next to the home button, the same way that it is on the 3DS. And that made it feel symmetrical, like, you had a whole row of stuff on the bottom. Now the only thing that's on the bottom really is the home button. Start and select is now underneath the face buttons, A, B, X, and Y. And I guess that's understandable why they moved that, because again, if you're playing a game and you want to pause real quick, or you need to do something like, I just automatically envision, like, if Metroid came to the Wii U, and like with most Metroid games, the pause button brings up something, like it brought up, what was it, hyper mode or whatever for Metroid Prime 3. So you want to get it close to the face button so they can use it. So that's a little bit understandable. Plus with pausing a lot, I'm sure that you're going to want the pause button to be closer to the actual action buttons. So I guess that's okay. Just a little bit disappointed in that. My primary thing though is the home button and why they had to change that. I mean, first of all, there was nothing wrong with it. It was a big circular button that you pressed, just like you did with the Wii. But now it's got a huge ring around it, like it's going to light up. And that just instantly makes me think of the Xbox 360. I don't really understand why they wanted to go that route, other than just it's there for cosmetics. And what I mean by that is, on the 3DS when I'm playing, I understand why there's a light in the corner of the system to let me know that I have a notification, because I have to shut the lid. And when I shut the lid, I don't see what's going on. Or when I'm playing a game, I don't necessarily know that somebody's online, so it has to notify me. But on a home console, it should be able to notify me that there's somebody online, or that I have a message on the screen. On the screen itself. So other than it just being there to light up and make the controller look pretty, why is there a thing there? Now I'm sure that this is going to be stuff that's going to probably come into play at E3 and be shown off. Maybe they decided to have multiple tablets, and so it's an indicator of which player you are. But that's something that could be shown on the bottom screen. You know, they could be shown on the bottom screen, in the corner of the screen, you're player 4, you're player 2, you know. And with most games being online nowadays, it's not really relevant. Most games are online now, so most people only have one controller anyway. And even when I'm playing like the 360, for an example, I believe the controller blinks. I believe the lights on the controller blink when there's a friend that comes online. But if it does, I hardly notice it, because again, I'm staring at the home television. I'm not staring down at the controller. So if that's what it's for, I guess unless I'm doing tablet play, like if it switches from the screen to the tablet, then I guess I could need that. But again, it could easily show it on the tablet screen. You don't really need a light for that. There are 2 new buttons, one of which I'm sure is going to be for switching from the top screen, which will be your home television, to the actual tablet screen. The other one is a little bit up to question right now. Some people believe it's a sync button, but I believe that the sync button is just going to be like it is on the Wii, where it's going to be on the back of the controller, possibly on the side or something. I don't think it's going to be an actual button. So that leads me to believe that it might possibly be that sensor that they were working on, where it sort of, I don't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head, and I'm sorry, but that sensor that they were going to do that sensed your pulse rate and made the game react based upon that, I would actually like to see that, because it's right underneath where the D-pad is. That's where that additional thing is. And I think that would be great if that's what it is, because I can automatically see just simply moving my hand down real quick and putting my finger on that, and it says I'm relaxed. Or, you know, if they really are making another Eternal Darkness, like I hear they are for the Wii U, then that could easily come into play as far as with the insanity meter. Like, your pulse is too high, you need to calm down. That kind of stuff. Or because I'm nervous now, it's going to make things go topsy-turvy and stuff like it did in the first one. Only time will tell. Only E3, which is next month, will really tell what these additions are. Plus, Nintendo has hinted that there is still another feature left that they haven't discussed. And that could be it. That could be, you know, what I just mentioned as far as we're including this sensor. Maybe it's not. Maybe they dropped the idea. I did hear something along that lines. I think I read it a few months back that they dropped the idea completely for any kind of quality use with that. The vitality sensor, that's what it is, that they dropped the vitality sensor. But again, only E3 would tell, but those are my initial thoughts. I'm sure that, again, once I get my hands on the controller, that it'll be a fantastic device, and I'll forget all about this. But just initially looking at it, I like the way the initial controller was, the one that they showed off last year. I like that better. And because, again, they moved the analogs further away from like the face buttons and closer to closer to the corners, so they'd be closer to the shoulder buttons. That initially also makes the controller wider, so it makes it bigger. And I'm sure that people are going to complain about that, because they already thought that the original Wii U controller was already pretty big, and a little too big. So those are my thoughts on it. Be sure to sound off in the comments below, like, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys next month when I do some E3 coverage. Till then, see y'all next time.